Happy Sunday, Denver. And welcome into the Tailgate. Thanks for joining us at the Tailgate. We're really excited about this show because it's our version of a Sunday morning NFL show. And for me, as an NFL fan and a football fan my whole life, I feel like when you watch these Sunday morning NFL shows, you always end up feeling like you're missing a little something because a lot of the people that are probably tuning into this, and for me, like, I'm most interested in the Broncos. Mm-hmm. And you might get like 5 minutes of Broncos talk, maybe 10 if Tim Tebow's the quarterback, 8 if Peyton Manning's the quarterback, and maybe 1 if Drew Lock's the quarterback. So this is our way of giving the people of Denver their own Sunday morning NFL show. So I'm glad you guys are joining me for it.
I am ecstatic, Ryan. Cannot wait to do all this, and the NFL is back. I mean, we have waited so long here. No preseason, no real training camps. Finally, 'tis upon us, week 1.
Woo-hoo. I can't believe it. I can't believe that it's like actually finally happening. And in an hour and a half, there are going to be a dozen NFL games happening that matter in the real world. It's just such a cool thing, and I can't believe we're finally here.
It's weird that we're just going like right into it.
Yes.
Like no lead up. As I told Andre on bets the other day, it's like you quit smoking and like you didn't just come back with one. You just smoked a pack straight to your face, and so hopefully no one ODs on football today. I have Hank as my pick for the person who might do that. Of course, Henry Chisholm, Andre Simone, I'm Ryan Koenigsberg. These guys, they do the fantasy show. Andre does bets with me. Henry does buffs. I do Broncos. We kind of all do everything. And now we do this show, and we're super excited about it. So. Yeah. When you get to the tailgate, what do? You light the grill. How do you light the grill? Need some fire. So I need you guys to bring some fire for me. Hank, I'm going to start with you. Give me your hot take for today, your hot take for the NFL season. Give me your hottest take that you've got broiling for you right now.
Hot take for the season, Alexander Johnson, a Pro Bowl linebacker. It's going to happen. He's going to get the respect he deserves. Wow. I'm so excited to see this guy play.
Okay, Henry is the biggest Alexander Johnson stan in history. Although I hate calling him that. It's A.J. Johnson.
It's A.J.? We're going A.J.?
Yeah, we're going A.J. Okay. Johnson. You can't be a Pro Bowler with Alexander Johnson. You got to be A.J.
Really?
Yep. That's
I would disagree with that.
Alexander Johnson is like a philosopher.
Alexander Johnson sounds like he might have conquered half of the Western world in like the 1500s.
Yes, and I'll give you something hot about Alexander Johnson. He has dyed his beard like red.
Oh wow!
It's an interesting thing he's got going. He's got the long dreads, and now he has this like red beard. So
I'm so disappointed Henry hasn't done that.
Yeah, well, he kind of got a little red twinge in there. So are you still red beard, still Pro Bowler?
I think even more so. I think I might go all pro after hearing that. He just has, like, obviously, like, look at him, and he has all the physical tools, and he can just blow up running backs and fill holes and brush off blockers. But then also, like, just the energy he has, I just love it. And I think that he is going to become, like, a very important piece of this defense this season.
I think he has a chance to become, like, the emotional leader of the defense.
Yeah,
obviously, Von Miller, his leadership style was always just tough to gauge. He always called himself the people's champ, and I think that is kind of the leadership that he brought. He's everyone's friend. But every team needs that energy guy, and that can definitely be Alexander Johnson for this defense. I hate to make this comparison when the Nuggets are right about to play, but like you need a Montrezl Harrell, and I think that's kind of the role that Alexander Johnson can play for this defense.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting fit for Alexander Johnson is we're always concerned, what does he do on passing downs? Now without Von Miller, with a Bradley Chubb not 100%, I think they're really going to rely on him to kind of manufacture some pressure as a blitzer because that's such a strength. So maybe that's really where his game takes off in the biggest question mark.
I agree. I could totally see that. I almost wonder if he will be the piece that they just move around on third downs because they do have spots that they can fill. Yeah. There will be 6 guys rushing the passer, and not all those jobs are locked up. You can put him in the middle. You can put him on the edge. You can ask him to do so many things, and obviously it's drop him in coverage too. I think it's going to be a big year.
And with Derek Wolfe no longer on the team, I feel like Alexander Johnson is a big candidate for first guy off the bus. Like, this guy, dude, he's a statue. like a literal statue. It's unbelievable, his build. So it's between him. Maybe Jarrell Casey comes off first for you, but I think I'm going Alexander Johnson comes off the bus first for me.
My only concern, I have two. Will he process information just a little quicker, especially without the quarterback of that defense there in Todd Davis? Now he's got to take charge of that. And I would endorse Hank's take more if we were more confident that letting go of Todd Davis was something that Vic Fangio was all about.
If you were going to give me a dark horse Bronco to become a Pro Bowler, who would yours be?
I mean, I think Alexander Johnson's right at the tippy top of that list, unless we're going into the rookies or second-year guys. But yeah, I mean, I have a real love for Draymond Jones. That'd probably be the dark horse guy
very dark
I'd
horse.
go with. But yes, quite dark horse.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Hank's more mainstream. My other real concern, and this is, highbrow football stuff, is I need a linebacker to have a number in the 50s.
Oh.
That's
45 is a really good look for him.
I know. I agree. I think he wears it so well, though.
Play
like
fullback
if
you
Vaughn
want that
was out
number.
there wearing like the college 40, like I'm not so sure that would look. Except it's Vaughn, and Vaughn could probably pull anything off. But 45 on Alexander Johnson is perfect.
I'm a purist. I'm against it.
All right. If I'm going dark horse Pro Bowler, for me, it's Drew Lock.
Oh,
Gosh. What is that?
I mean, Trevor Siemian got an
pretty
invite.
mainstream.
Those don't count.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't count. You got an invite when 17 people dropped out.
It might happen again, though.
No, because there is no Pro Bowl this year, so you can get elected, but you don't actually have to play. So even guys that are going to play in the Super Bowl will be considered Pro Bowl starters.
Interesting.
All right, Andre, hit me with yours.
My hot take is, while in the AFC, I could very easily see the same 4 division winners from a year ago repeating. Certainly good chance 3 of the 4, certainly good chance 2 of the 4. In the NFC, I think we will have 4 new division winners across the board, whether that's in the West, where I think the Niners might falter a little bit and the Seahawks and Rams could really take over. In the North, where Vegas doesn't believe in Green Bay and kind of saw those 13 wins last year as a real mirage, I like the Vikings in that division. The East, where the Eagles pulled it off, obviously the Cowboys are the big favorites kind of across the board in that division. And in the South, the Saints look like the favorites, but you never know with these veteran quarterbacks. I really like Atlanta as kind of a dark horse. 10 of their 11 starters on offense are former first-rounders, so there's tons of talent. And the defense, while underdeveloped, has some interesting pieces that fit that scheme. And, of course, you have Tom Brady and Tampa Bay there in the South. So I'm predicting 4 new division winners in the NFC.
You have me convinced. That's a pretty hot take, and you do have me convinced. How do you feel about the other side? Do you think it will be 4 repeat on the AFC side?
The Chiefs feel like a lock. I'm kind of bullish on don't sleep on the Patriots. This is Belichick's year of proving that he can still win a fairly weak AFC East still. After that, the South, I don't know. The Texans do have me questioning things a little bit after Thursday. But again, the Titans are the other team that made the playoffs there, so I think that's the toss-up. And the Ravens, I really believe the Steelers will give them a run for their money, but I think the Ravens are the favorite there as well.
Watching the Texans gave me Broncos anxiety because it was a very clear picture of what it looks like when you have good weapons and a bad offensive line. Mm-hmm. And the Broncos, it's so hard to say they have a bad offensive line because I don't think they do. They have bad tackles.
Yeah.
And, the old saying that applies to a lot of things, but especially to the offensive line, is you're only as strong as your weakest link. Mm-hmm. Some people that are watching this show probably think that weak link is Garrett Bowles. It's actually not, pretty easily, in my opinion. That's Elijah Wilkinson, and that should make you even more worried. So I don't know. That was I wasn't ready for that when I was watching the Texans, and I was like, oh, geez.
I know.
Deshaun Watson can't do it all, and if he can't do it all, it's going to be tough for Drew Lock.
No one can. Yeah, you'd need Patrick Mahomes to play against those guys to have a chance.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and what's so frustrating is Mahomes had 211 passing yards, and they still did that to the Texans. Yeah. They didn't even need him to be full strength. And I guess if Demarcus Robinson pulls in that 1 touchdown catch to start the game, then things are different. Mm-hmm. But that was a team that was very balanced, running the ball and throwing the ball, and just demolished the Texans.
All right, so 4 new winners in the NFC.
Lock them in.
You've got me convinced. I think it's going to happen. Can you parlay that? DraftKings Sportsbook?
Ooh, We'll get back to you on that.
Andre, the light just went off. And, of course, a shout-out to DraftKings Sportsbook, the presenting sponsor of this show, and really the official sportsbook of the DNVR bar, a.k.a. the casino, a.k.a. the cathedral, where we will be today. Just bet slips flying out like confetti at all moments throughout this day.
I mean, it's a second account type of day with the Nuggets, all the NFL. It's hard to keep track on just one account.
Second account that you're hiding from your wife?
Maybe I used her name in social to get that second account.
Oh, my
God. Who knows? Who knows what happens?
Hopefully she's not watching the show.
Love you, sweetie.
All right, my hot take, it's actually a hot take about today. I'm a one game at a time kind of guy, one Sunday at a time. I'm not trying to, project. I'm only ready for this Sunday. I'm trying to win this Sunday. There are 9 games in the 11 o'clock time slot here this morning.
Talk about overdose.
I've got 7 unders in the first 9 games. Give me 7 unders in the first 9 games.
You're big on this.
I think like the over hit on that Thursday night, and I think that has everyone all messed up because that was the Chiefs, and they did pretty much all of the heavy lifting themselves. They covered the spread and hit the over, which tells you that they did their jobs.
Yeah.
I think that the NFL today is going to be sloppy. I think that offenses are really going to struggle. I think that quarterbacks are going to have a hard time hitting receivers downfield. There's just going to be a lot of little timing issues that go on with it is just unbelievable. I can't get past the fact that these quarterbacks have not seen full-speed football since last season. Teams that didn't make the playoffs, it's been so long since they've seen a live speed game. And even the preseason, let's say you get 6 series, that's 6 series. Now your first 6 series of this game are your preseason. And so I think they're going to be just really, really struggling on offense. And I think defense is, there's made of tackling. And you'll see a highlight of some running back breaking 7 tackles and scoring a touchdown today. But I think the whole tackling thing is a little bit overblown. Tackling, yes, technique is important and all these things. These guys have been tackling people for 25 years. It's an instinct. It's an instinct thing.
Right.
So I'm not nearly as worried about tackling as I am about timing for offenses.
And what I might be more concerned about tackling wise isn't.
All right, we're back after a little bit of technical difficulties. Thanks to anyone who is still with us coming back here. Sorry about that, but we're back. And Andre, the topic that we were discussing here was how are the Broncos going to react to these injuries? How are they going to fill them in? You were talking about Malik Reed and Justin Hollins and kind of the contrast between those guys. Of course, the Broncos end up cutting Justin Hollins, and I think it's a really big endorsement of Malik Reed. And I think Malik Reed is the big name that more people know because Jeremiah Attaochu was kind of a late to mid-season addition last year. I like Malik Reed. I'm big on Malik Reed. I'm bigger on Jeremiah Attaochu. I think he is a more well-rounded guy. He is physically a bit more capable of handling this, and especially in week 1 as you're going up against Derrick Henry, you are going to need the bigger body.
Big time.
I'm really high on Jeremiah Attaochu. I think this guy starts for half the NFL teams.
I think so too. I think in a sense it's a really nice opportunity for him. As you said, he's got all the physical traits. I mean, you can see he looks like a former top 50 draft pick because that's what he was. And he used to be a bit more of a one-trick pony, edge bender, pass rusher. Now he's really rounded out his game. He's still just in his mid-20s. This is a huge opportunity for him to take off and really run with it and establish himself as a starter on this team or somewhere else.
Yeah, and I am really excited to watch both these guys play. And part of the reason is because I want to see what Vic Fangio does. I think Dre kind of brought this up a little bit earlier about how now you have to manufacture the pressure. You have to bring more guys than they can block. You have to overload one side and then blitz back on the other side where they aren't looking for it. You have to do the creative types of things that are honestly the reason you have a coach like Vic Fangio, because he can do those things for your defense. It'd be nice if you could just have Von Miller on one end, Bradley Chubb on the other, Jarrell Casey in the middle with Shelby Harris, and then they get to pick 2 guys to double team if they keep it an extra blocker. You trust your guys to win out. That's the style of football you want to play. Now we get to see what this defense looks like when you have this like chess master kind of moving all the pieces, and they're fun pieces to watch, like Malik Reed and Jerry Atachu.
Yep. On the offensive side, we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that Courtland Sutton is going to play Monday night. I think he can play as a decoy.
Right.
You know, you guys are going to talk fantasy here in a second. To be honest, a million people have asked me, should I play him? I wouldn't play him in fantasy. I think he is going to play if I had to guess, but I wouldn't play him in fantasy. I think he's going to be out there to just, do a little bit of conditioning. He's going to run down the field and try and take some, a corner and a safety with him and open things up. I think that really opens things up for Jerry Jeudy in his first game if Courtland Sutton is out there. If not, I'm going to be a little worried about Jerry Jeudy's production. But it's not going to be all on Jerry Jeudy. I think Tim Patrick is going to be someone who's going to have to take up a big role. And then KJ Hamler, another injury that's, Bob, that's kind of hurting the excitement here going into week one. If he's not out there, then it's Deshaun Hamilton. The one thing I will say about Deshaun Hamilton is he has a nice little rapport with Drew Lock. You saw that down the stretch at the end of last season. So it sucks. It sucks that you're dealing with this. Offensively, without Courtland Sutton, I'm going to be, I'm talking about unders. I'm going to be really worried about the under hitting for the Broncos in that game if they don't have Courtland Sutton out there.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to have to rely on Jeudy a lot. The nice thing of Jeudy, and in a similar way, Noah Fant, is those are versatile, movable pieces. So even without Sutton, you can manufacture some more favorable matchups by just lining them up in the slot, flexing them out, putting maybe trips to one side, and then you flex Noah Fant outside. You can kind of mix and match a little more and dictate the matchups yourself, where Sutton's just a lineup outside, hope they double cover him to, swing the matchup that way. So we'll see.
All right, we got to move on to our next segment here. We talked a little bit about DraftKings Sportsbook, and let me tell you, we are going to be crushing DraftKings Sportsbook today. There's going to be like bandwidth issues with how many bets are coming from this very area right here. And of course, you can always come down here and hang out with us at the DNVR bar. We are sold out today, but there are still a few spots left for the Monday night opener. It should be really fun. Doubleheader Monday night. Come in for dinner, stay late. Probably take work off on Tuesday if you have that opportunity. But so check that out. There's links all over Twitter. I posted one in the DNVR lounge. So if you want to come hang out with us on Monday and watch the game, there is still an opportunity to do that. We're going to get into our lock, prop, and upset. But Henry, I have a game for you.
Yeah.
Starting right now, you have until the end of our betting segment to get one of your Tinder matches to give you a pick on a game for today.
All right.
Preferably the 11 a.m. time slot.
Preferably the 11 a.m. time slot. Do you want to pick a game?
We'll take any.
No.
Frankly, I'll take
because I don't think I can just say like blanket. Like, do you have any locks for the morning slate?
Okay, this is on you, man, not on us.
Okay.
You have until the end of this segment to get a Tinder match to give you a pick on an NFL game. If you get it, both me and Andre have to take it no matter what it is.
Yep.
If you don't get it, you have to chug a beer or take a shot.
Good deal.
Deal?
All right, let's do it.
All right,
let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to get into our lock, prop, and upset Andre while Henry is mass texting his Tinder matches.
This is phenomenal. Okay, good.
I want to hear your lock, prop, and upset, so give it to me.
All right, my lock is the LA Chargers. It's at Cincinnati. The Chargers have been, it's not coincidental, one of the best road teams in the NFL the last several years because they have no home field advantage. So they just play better on the road because it doesn't faze them one bit. I think they'll be a team that's even more at home with no fans. At Cincinnati, -2.5. I have seen this move a little bit. If you can get it, even better, go for it. We were talking earlier, though. Cincinnati is one of those teams, that rookie quarterback. I don't believe in that coaching staff. It's just going to take a while. I think they're not going to have their bearings and really be vibing until like the fourth quarter. Because that's like by the time they get to the fourth preseason will be enough snaps to get to the fourth quarter. So just against that talented Chargers defense, my metrics really like the Chargers. And I'm not sure, I'm far from a Tyrod Taylor believer, but I'm not sure that's a downgrade at quarterback from what they had last year.
I think you're right on that. I'm very low on the Chargers. I'm also extremely low on the Bengals, so that's a tough one for me. I love how if someone's tuning in right now, it looks like Henry's like Adam Schefter. He's like crushing sources, trying to get the latest news on who's starting, who's sitting. But instead, any responses yet? Can you see if people have read it?
If you pay extra money, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
damn. I really want to see just like 7 like double check marks.
Yeah.
And no responses. Okay. Give me your prop, Dre.
My prop, I'm staying local, Austin Eckler over 34.5 receiving yards. So I'm sticking to this game. I don't think that linebacker core for the Bengals can really hang with Eckler. This was also the worst defense in the NFL last year. I don't think they'll be that much better to limit a really dynamic running back in Austin Eckler, who last year, without Melvin Gordon, averaged 20 touches per game and 26.8 fantasy points. I think that'll translate to well over 34.5 receiving yards. Another mini prop. We, with the good people at DraftKings Sportsbook, were able to give some specific props. You should still be able to get this. You can buy Jerry Jeudy over 3.5 touchdowns this entire season at just -150. To me, I mean, that's the lock of all props.
I completely agree. I think that could hit by week 3, to be honest.
Yeah, by like midnight Monday, that's in the books. Maybe not quite, but I mean, yeah.
All right, and then your upset pick of the day.
Okay. The Seahawks are coming to Atlanta. I think the Falcons, who I was already talking up as a dark horse in that NFC South, at +106, I like them as a dog to win. Obviously, their coach came from Seattle, so he knows that defensive system well. Betting against Russell Wilson always scares me, but I'm really high on this Atlanta offense. Matt Ryan, what Todd Gurley can add to all that. So.
You're testing one of my big theories. It's not even a theory. It's a personal rule, which is never bet against Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So if you're like going up against the powers of the universe right now.
Yep.
All I can say is good luck. Henry, how are you doing over there? How many have you sent out?
I think that was 6 right there.
Let's go.
I think that's 5 or
good.
6.
I have a dream that one day we're at your wedding. And you're telling the story of how you met your wife based on this stupid game that I'm making you play.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be amazing.
Something's got to get me there, right? Like, something's got to happen so I wind up at a wedding. So far, I'm not sure what that's going to be, though.
All right, you want to keep going, or do you want to give your picks? Because I can give mine if you want to keep.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh, 6 and done.
6 is it.
I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and then panic if I don't get any sort of response.
All right, then give me your lock, prop, and upset.
All right. My lock is the Eagles -5.5. I think that is going to happen. They're playing the Washington football team. They're just too much better. Allie's showing me her green shoes.
With an Eagles logo on it. Those are baller. I'm very impressed.
I didn't even see. I was
really
like, yeah,
impressive.
green shoes. Wow. Congrats.
I'm impressed that Allie can get her foot above the table like that. I definitely could not do that.
Very talented.
We might have to try that later. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that the Miles Sanders news, the running back for the Eagles who isn't playing, does kind of scare me. And I did send this in without knowing that was the case. But I will also say that I still think they win. They're just so much better than Washington. Like even if there's the 49ers-Cardinals game, for example, at least with the Cardinals, I see some signs that they could be building towards something. With Washington, it's just like, no, you guys are bad.
Yeah.
I like their defensive front. I like Ron Rivera, but as I was saying, on offense, they have like 1.5 viable, like NFL starters that you would want on your Madden team.
Right.
You know? And that Birds defense is good enough to where that young Washington offense won't have enough to survive this first game.
Allie has a take. I can see it.
Oh, no, just Miles Sanders being out is definitely makes it a little nerve-wracking. I think it'll be a little close. But
Boston Scott needs more carries anyway. I say this every single Eagles games I ever watch. So.
Ryan has been a Boston Scott fan since he first stepped foot onto the field in an Eagles jersey.
Yeah.
He was like, he's good, he's going to be good.
Yeah, it's the only Boston thing that I really like, to be honest.
Same. We've got Boston, someone named Boston and someone named Dallas on the Eagles.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Terrible.
I think both big performance, the middle of that Skins defense with the 2 tight ends in Ertz and Goddard and Boston Scott will actually be tough to defend.
I'll say I gave out Eagles -5.5 on the Friday bet show as well as one of my locks. So I like it a lot too. I'm as low as one could be on the Washington football team.
Yeah, me too.
I'm surprised that hasn't moved yet.
My prop is the
Henry's
Kenyon.
reading off.
Yeah.
You need a teleprompter to give
Well,
out 3 picks?
No, I can't remember what the number was. It was 57.5 rushing yards for Kenyon Drake. Do we have an update on his status, though?
No, that was just in our Discord. So far, there's no
he's
smoke
fine.
anywhere else. Yes.
That is good to know. So it does kind of scare me going up against the 49ers front.
I should think.
Without DeForest Buckner, though, they got to take a big step back. And I really think that this offense is going to have to rely on the running game more than they want to, especially early on in the season. And you have a guy like Kenyon Drake. They're going to have to feed him. I think that this is a pretty tight game. I think it's a pretty low-scoring game. Again, those games favor the running backs. And he's a lead back. He's going to get 60 yards.
Are you saying that you're a little worried about the deforestation of the 49ers defense?
I guess you could say that.
I was thinking in my head as he was talking, there's a deforestation. pun to be made. I'm so glad you picked that up. Good.
They are all very tall, too.
I know.
Yes.
They're all like 6'6", 6'7" up there.
Well, it's like all first-round picks as well.
Yeah, I mean it's all the prototypes, the guys you want as defensive linemen who are like 6'7" with crazy long arms, but they're also super fast and strong and like that. Yeah, they're all freaks except one of them's gone and he's right in the middle of the defense.
Yeah. We'll see how Kinlaw picks up the slack.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel good about that one just because I think Kyler Murray is really going to open it up for that running game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're upset.
Upset Packers. This is barely an upset. They're I think
Plus
2.5 point underdogs. Yeah. So this isn't like the hottest take here, especially considering that they won 13 games and went to the NFC Championship last year in their first year with a new head coach, and now they're in their second year in the same offensive scheme. You would think that they would be getting just a little more preseason hype, especially because they really didn't lose any pieces that you're concerned about, like the ghost of Jimmy Graham. They lost one lineman. I mean, I think that they're about to run it back and maybe even be more successful than last year, as hard as it is to project a team to repeat at 13-3. Meanwhile, the Vikings lose Daniil Hunter, they lose Stephon Diggs, and they lost the division last year. I think that this just looks like some pretty good value with the Packers.
And, you know, it's only plus 120, but DraftKings Sportsbook giving you a 25% profit boost on every single NFL game today. So, you know, that gets it up to like, I don't know, somewhere in the 150, 140?
Yeah. It's not bad. I think 150.
I'm not a math guy. All right.
I'm on the Vikings on that one, though.
I have a rule, always take the better quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. All right, my lock prop and upset. I start with my lock, which is Bengals-Chargers under 42. I'm so big on unders today, and those two teams
That's a great one.
42 is, you know, that's 21-21. I don't think there's 6 touchdowns out there in this football game. So
yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's gonna be an easy under, to be honest, just an absolute slog all the way through, and that might be the easiest bet of the day for me.
Yeah, even with like a nice Desmond King return or like a defensive touchdown, you're still going to have a hard time reaching 42 in this one.
My prop. Now, this is the only like offensively focused thing I'm taking all day today. Baker Mayfield over 244.5 passing yards.
Against the Wolfman and that defense, huh?
I mean, yeah. No Earl Thomas, though.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, the Ravens are going to put them in a position where they're going to have to throw the football.
Okay.
And that's going to be up to Baker Mayfield to make some plays.
Okay, fair enough.
So, and I think he hits a big one to OBJ.
Interesting.
You're very low on this.
I hate it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not high on Baker or that offense this week at all.
I'm not that high on Baker.
And I'm skeptical of Kevin Stefanski. I think there'll be more run first. So I got to see what the offensive plan is.
We'll see. We'll see. And my upset, I love this. I feel really good about this one. You talked about the deforestation. Yep. Arizona Cardinals plus 255. You add in that 25% profit boost. That's a lot more. Over the San Francisco 49ers. Played them close in both games last year. Did they beat them once? I can't remember.
No, they lost the first one by 3. They were up 2 going into the fourth quarter in the second game. Lost by like 10 though.
Yeah. This is
right there.
I think I'm pretty low on the 49ers this year. I think they're going to be solved a little bit. And I'm, you know, there's a little bit of heart in this one. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't. I love Kyler Murray. I love Cliff Kingsbury. Year 2 in that offense. Add in DeAndre Hopkins. Kenyon Drake, first full year with this team. I think that this offense is going to be booming. And I think it's going to all come together today for as much as offenses are going to come together today. And I think it's going to be enough for them to get the job done.
Yeah, and Niners dealing with some injuries at wide receiver, and Deebo Samuel and both Brandon Ayuk looking a little questionable. Their backup running back, Tevin Coleman. So they're dealing with some injuries. Do we have a match?
No. Nope.
Not even no response. No, nothing.
No response.
I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but Henry's starting to actually sweat.
It's not going well.
His forehead.
It's not going well.
Quick note on the Niners game. That's 6.5, right? The Niners are favored.
The Niners are favored by 6.5.
That's moved from when the lines were first announced from 8.5 favorites all the way to 6.5.
Yeah.
So the public slowly swung that back your way.
Tevin Coleman might not play.
Yep.
Deebo is out, which is sad for me because he's on my fantasy team.
And Ayuk even.
And Ayuk, is he out or still just questionable?
I believe just questionable last I saw.
All right, well, Henry, I think your time is up.
Is my time up?
No. Oh, no.
I'm really sad. I thought you were going to be able to do this.
I mean, it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
Peel the curtain back. What did you say? Did you copy and paste the same thing?
What's the verbiage? What's the verbiage?
So this was the toughest part. The toughest part was like the first 2 minutes where I was like workshopping what do I say, because I had decided the strategy was come up with something, mass text it. Hey, this is kind of a weird thing, but I'd really, really appreciate it if you could help me pick one of the football games this morning.
Okay.
And then a little like this face emoji.
The straight teeth.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, please respond.
You left it at that? That's the whole thing?
Yeah. I mean, I figured you got to open the door and then like send a pick. What am I supposed to say? Like, do you like the 49ers -9?
Yeah,
yes.
I thought
but see, I don't think
Packers plus 2.5 or Vikings minus 2.5. That's how I would have propositioned
there are like
it.
diehard sports fans who still struggle with some of the betting terms, like just random people on Tinder. I feel like I gotta.
Okay. You should have just said, like, who do you think is going to win, the 49ers or the Cardinals?
Yeah, probably.
And then said, like, by how much? After.
Honestly, if you would, no, because you could have just come back and said, like, well, Sherry here says, there's no one named Sherry, but
I hope there is.
Katie here says she likes Cardinals money line.
Yeah, I was really hoping Brielle would give me an answer.
Brielle, come on. If you're out there, Brielle.
The only thing you're getting, you're not getting the Brie, you're just getting the L.
Oh, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And I did get the L.
Okay, so do you want a beer or a shot?
It's probably a shot.
Yeah, okay, a shot of what?
Tequila.
Okay, shot.
Tequila.
Okay, good.
10:15 a.m. shot of tequila for Henry. Tough scene.
Well, that's tough scene.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into our fantasy segment here, but first, before we get into that, Andre, your cousin, wanted to send us a little video here to throw out some picks. So, producer Guy, do we have that video ready? All right, let's cue it up. Let's see what Andre's cousin, the math magician here, has to say about fantasy this week. Soon. It will happen.
Oh, boy.
We will have it. It's coming all the way from Italy. Here we go. Oh, we lost it?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's start here with a fantasy freakout. Some last-minute decisions being made here for the people home that are watching. What do they need to get to? Who do they need to know? What do they need? Who do they need to bench? Who do they need to go pick up? What do we need here?
Yeah, it really starts with the Miles Sanders injury that we knew a couple days earlier because he wasn't traveling with the Eagles. That's a really advantageous matchup just because we expect the Eagles to go up early and for them to milk the lead and kind of really embrace the running game. And that's where I think Boston Scott will really come in handy here at running back to replace Miles Sanders. You also have Kenny Galladay's out, the Lions wide receiver. That makes guys like Marvin Jones a much higher priority. We've seen Lane Johnson out for the Eagles. That could make the Eagles matchup a little tougher. Did you get a late response?
Colts and Jags. Sarah says Colts and Jags because she is a big Colts fan.
Let's go. Let's go.
I need a ruling
We're still talking.
At
we
the
never
buzzer.
cut. We never cut to the video.
At the buzzer.
Is it 0-0?
Can I call it a win and still just take this shot and everybody's happy?
Yes. Yep. We're gonna let you have that. We're gonna let you have that. And now you're gonna take a
Legendary.
celebratory. Do you want are you,
Legendary.
I'm impressed.
Are you okay with dating a Colts fan?
Why not?
Yeah.
Our
You
horse
can have
in
the
a round
you guys have the
segment would
Peyton
work well
Manning
for her,
thing.
so-
She did say
Yeah.
Colts and Jags.
She did
Two teams that are playing each other.
Well, she clearly means she's taking the Colts.
She's got me in that. But yeah, Peyton Manning thing.
Yeah.
We could bring that up.
Sure.
I bet she has warm
Both
feelings toward him.
horse-related teams.
Horse related. Maybe she likes horses. I don't.
She'd appreciate the horsing around segment we've got coming up. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take the shot anyway.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Have your celebratory shot.
Just smelling that this early in the morning makes me somewhat sick. I can't imagine actually drinking it.
What'd you say?
Sarah, this one's for you.
Yeah,
Congrats.
shout out, Sarah.
You got yourself a winner here. I love that.
Look at the pain in his eyes.
It's 10 in the morning. It's 10 in the morning.
That is horrible. I can't believe we just did that. That's horrendous.
Real quick, producer Allie, do we have the video from Andre's cousin?
From Andre's cousin?
Yes.
Yeah, Andre's cousin.
Oh, yes, we do.
All right. Then let's go ahead and
do
take
that?
that now. Then,
Because we're
because we're cracking one open.
there. We go.
As you just saw, Hank more than cracked one open.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
That
was more of
he
a
went into the
crank
whole
to one
bottle
open.
there. So,
Yeah, that was rough.
all right, let's see what Andre's cousin here has to say about fantasy.
DPR wings plus points times 0.0154. Hey there, guys. Week 1 of the NFL season upon us, huh? Time for some picks, I guess. Let's start with fantasy. I'm buying Amari Cooper. The imbeciles in studio, they're going to tell you, oh, Amari Cooper, stay away from Jalen Ramsey, stay away from Jalen Ramsey. That's insane. Last year, Jalen Ramsey held him to 2.9 points. That's not going to happen again. One of the biggest boomer bust performers in the entire NFL fantasy is Amari Cooper, and he's not going to underperform again. Well, he might. You never know. Embrace the randomness. Don't be scared of Jalen Ramsey. Next, sell. Austin Eckler. Local product. Boo-hoo. I don't care. Andre Simone is going to be in studio. Oh, bragging. Oh, I discovered Austin Eckler. Big whoop. But where did you have Austin Eckler rank compared to all the Bengals linebackers? Because I went back and checked. Jermaine Pratt ranked higher than Eck. Logan Wilson ranked higher than Eck. And yeah, the Bengals' worst defense in the league, 6.1 yards per play last year. They're only bound to get better. They added DJ Reader, so the defense is going to get better. Austin Eckler, you don't scare me one bit. I'm selling all the way. And now, finally, AD all day, Adrian Peterson. If the NFL's taught me anything, I love 35-year-old backs. If there's anyone who can turn around this terrible Lions running attack, it's this man, it's this legend. The Bears running defense, they don't scare me. They don't scare me at all. Akeem Hicks, big whoop. They were still a bottom 10 defense last year. And oh yeah, there's their young backs. Kerryon Johnson, big whoop. More like Kerryon Johnson, right out of here. DeAndre Swift to leave that backfield because AD is here. And finally, my bet of the week, Miami, baby. MIA. Patriots, you don't scare me one bit. This line went from plus 6.5 for the Dolphins to now plus 7.5. That was before Cam Newton got added. Vegas thinks that with Newton added, the Patriots are actually a 1 point worse. Get out of here. Newton, you don't scare me one bit. Dolphins always split with the Patriots. They're going to split at the top of the year this time instead of the bottom. Make that your lock of the week. Fantasy and bets, there you go, guys.
Wow. Harsh words from
Your cousin.
yeah, clearly a deranged human being. I will say that
Those hot-blooded Italians, man.
for the call out on Austin Eckler, I did have him ranked in my top 150, which is more than anyone else who does draft rankings could say that year. So, but anyways, thank you to the math magician for contributing with that nonsense. I think he kind of helped make our own points. But we do need to get into our start and sits for the week. We have some that are related to some of the injury news and fantasy freakouts that we've had thus far. The first one you can see is Boston Scott for me. It was either Miles Sanders or Boston Scott, one way or another, against the Redskins defense where the Eagles should kind of pad a lead. You like that? I hate Amari Cooper. I love Michael Gallup. Going against the Rams and Jalen Ramsey, you got to really like, the rest of the Cowboys wide receivers that aren't lining up with Ramsey, while I really don't like Cooper, who is there. And then, we have, as you see, Hank, who do you like here? Start and sit.
Well, Chris Carson's up at the top with the Seahawks going up against the Falcons. Have Grady Jarrett in the middle, but for the most part, I'm not too worried about being able to run against that defense. And with all of the injuries that are cropping up among running backs, I think that Chris Carson's just such a safe play, as he always is, and maybe he has just a bit more upside than people give him credit for, especially early in the season. I think that teams are going to want to run the ball more just because they're scared of how their passing game is developing, because it is more nuanced. I do think that Chris Carson's off or on track for a big day. Marlon Mack is my second, of course. Going up against the Jags, you have to love that matchup, especially because the Colts should be able to get up and then just start running. With him winning the starting job over Jonathan Taylor, I think that you have to just ride him until you see Jonathan Taylor start to pick up more of the reps. New Tinder match. Wish that happened a little bit earlier. And then with David Montgomery or Tariq Cohen, going up against the Lions, I think the Lions' run defense is really overrated. This was the defense that under Matt Patricia last year, the Lions' defense gave up more points they'd given up in a season since 2012. That's not what you think of when you think of a Matt Patricia team. So you have that. You have David Montgomery, who should be pounding the rock. I haven't seen an update on his status, but if he doesn't play, then Tariq Cohen should be good for value too.
Beautiful. And we should mention the math magician disgusted Ryan so much he had to leave the set. We've got producer Guy, one of our DNVR fantasy people. Who do you like to start and sit this week?
I got a couple. DJ Chark for me, big one.
Yep.
Really, there's nobody else out there in Jacksonville that can really compete with him for catches. Obviously, LaVisca, the CU graduate, is out there, but he's a rookie, and, how he's going to integrate into that system is still a question, whether they're going to play him more as a running back or as a wide receiver, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
and Chark performed well with Minshew last year.
Exactly. He's got the rapport there. He knows what's going on in the offensive scheme, and they know they can trust him. So I think he's going to see a lot of work there in Indianapolis, and they're going to be playing catch-up a lot. So I like him to get a lot of touches, a lot of yards there. Evan Ingram is my second one. Again, another situation where with Darius Slayton out and Golden Tate out, you really don't have any other options for Daniel Jones to throw the ball to there, especially once you get down to the red zone. So obviously Saquon Barkley is going to feature a lot in the offense, but once you get into that red zone, I see Evan Ingram getting a lot of opportunities there. So
in a game against the Steelers, that should be a blowout too.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be matched up against him, but I still like Evan Ingram's chances there. My last one for the starts, Terry McLaurin. I see that as again, like one of those opportunities for a guy that doesn't have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? Competition. In the wide receiving core there. So
or running back or tight end.
Yep.
I mean, it's Terry McLaurin and no one else. So,
I think it should be noted that my philosophy here is choosing guys that are already integrated into an offensive system, and they're playing on a team that probably has a bad defense and is likely to be playing catch-up throughout the game. So that, to me, equates to more fantasy value.
Yeah, continuity and a larger kind of touch share. And on that Ingram Giants Steelers matchup, I really like Big Ben to kind of go off on that lowly Giants defense. I don't believe in them one bit.
Yeah.
As far as sits, I mentioned Amari Cooper. Who else do we not like? You have a sit here that is one of Guy's starts.
Yeah.
So Evan Ingram, why do you not like him?
Guy brought it up. It's Minkah Fitzpatrick on the other side. And to me, there are definitely two ways you can look at this. The top two receivers are out. They've got to throw the ball somewhere. It's got to go to Evan Ingram. The problem is the Steelers know the exact same information, and so they're going to line up with Minkah Fitzpatrick on Evan Ingram. They're going to be quick to help on Evan Ingram, and so it's going to be interesting because I agree that he's going to get 8-10 targets. How many of those get caught, though? I think I'm more skeptical than you are.
Did we get a wager going on this Ingram thing on the DNVR Fantasy Podcast?
I don't think we did, but we can. Yeah.
This sounds wager-worthy. Where do we set the number here?
10? 9?
What? Points?
We'll
say 10, yeah.
Let's say 10. Let's say
10's
over
a
under
push.
10. Yep, 10's a push.
Okay, let's do it. I love it. Who else do you not like going into this week?
For me, I'd say, let's see. Nick Chubb is on that list for me.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those games where I think it's going to get out of hand for the Browns.
Yeah.
They're going up against a very good Ravens defense.
Yes.
They're going
Ravens defense.
Exactly, and they're going to be integrating Kareem Hunt into that offensive more as well. So you're going to see less opportunity for Nick Chubb in general, going up against bad defense and a game script that's going to go against seeing a lot of running action.
I'll jump in with the Lions running backs.
All of them?
Yeah, don't touch any of them. You know, if you're really, really desperate, maybe pick up Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, the math magician loved him.
So I'm going to unsay that. I want to unsay that. I want to unsay that.
That's just proving your point, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
you can't unsay things when we're live.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Sorry.
On record
Can you just cut that out? Yeah, just cut that out.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift also not playing, so maybe that does boost it just a little bit. But any of these backfields, really, where you just don't know what's going to happen. The Buccaneers, the Lions, the Rams, there are just so many of those teams right now. Even the Redskins, I feel the same way. Just stay away from those controversial running backs and go with guys like Chris Carson and Marlon Mack, who I highlighted earlier.
Yeah, and I know this seems kind of counterintuitive, but I have Daniel Jones on my sit list as well, even though I have Ingram on my start list.
Right.
I think that Daniel Jones, a lot of the fantasy value that he provides is with his feet, and he's not going to be able to do a lot of scrambling. And I see him turning the ball over a little bit as well. So those are all going to be negatives for him, which is going to drive his value down, even though I think he's going to be able to get the ball to Ingram a little bit, especially in the red zone. I don't think that's really going to boost his fantasy value enough to offset the lack of running and the interceptions or fumbles, however he ends up turning the ball over against a very stout Steelers defense.
And I'm really low on Tom Brady against the Saints defense that's really improved. Continuity, obviously a big theme of these week one start-sits, as it should be. You really got to like that Buccaneers offense otherwise, but that fit with Brady seems very awkward. This feels very much like Gary Kubiak and Peyton Manning trying to make it work. This Bruce Arians, Tom Brady just isn't a match. I hate that. We were all kind of appalled by how high Tom Brady was drafted in leagues. I beg you to draft your backup, at least for the first couple weeks as Brady kind of figures this out.
Appalled is putting it nicely for me, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was inaccurate.
Flabbergasted?
We've talked about, you had Nick Chubb, I have Baker Mayfield. Just guys we don't like going into this week as we think the Browns are going to get blown out. You've already talked about you don't like the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is on your sit list as well.
He definitely is. I mean, no Stephon Diggs. You don't know what's happening there. First week, I know it's an offense that we've seen, but I really think the running game is going to be big in week one. Yeah. And then you look at the defense he's going up against. He has one real receiver until Justin Jefferson really proves himself as a rookie, and that one receiver's going up against Jair Alexander. That Adam Thielen, Jair Alexander matchup could decide the whole game. Jair got to his first Pro Bowl last year. Now he's 23. I think he's ready to keep going.
Last one for me. Again, going with these negative game scripts, Jordan Howard. I mean, there's a lot of things at play here. I see things kind of getting out of hand for them as well. They're going to have to play from behind. Obviously, Fitzpatrick is known for slinging the ball, so I don't see a lot of running happening there. They have, as of last season, the worst offensive line in football. They have Matt Breida that they brought in to compete for touches. All this, for me, spells disaster for Jordan Howard, at least in terms of fantasy, and I don't see him getting very many opportunities, so that's why he's on my sit list.
Yeah, I'm with you. And fantasy freakouts, we kind of mentioned them already. The biggest one, Miles Sanders, replace him with Boston Scott. If you're in desperate need, Adrian Peterson's probably the other guy that's available in most leagues. That's a rough look. So that's it for our fantasy segment there. Thank you, Guy. Tune in to DNVR Fantasy every Tuesday at 8 p.m. where we're answering all your questions, getting you set for the week that comes, talking about all the hot waivers. So, and
also just a side note, for all of our members that are on our Discord channel, we do answer questions on there, and we host those questions on our show as well to give you some in-depth analysis and help with your waiver wire pickups, your lineups, things like that, trades even. So
absolutely,
if you're looking for some extra advice, become a member, and we'll help you out.
Beautiful. And with that, I think it's time to horse around a little bit. In honor of Sarah and Henry's match with a Colts fan on Tinder. Wow.
Wow. I've never met a Colts fan. I've been thinking about it. This will be the first Colts fan I've met.
You think she's also a Pacers fan? Like an Indiana diehard basketball person?
Yeah, see, I don't know if I could go that far.
Wow.
Colts and Pacers.
Shouts to Indiana and all Midwestern girls. I married a Midwestern girl. What can I say?
All right, I'm back, and I've come bearing gifts.
You have? What are we
RK
drinking?
Specials.
Cheers. Oh, of course.
Cheers, boys.
Nothing like an IPA to follow up the tequila shot at
RK
10:30.
Special is the only appropriate beer for breakfast.
Can we just admit, you just have to know, Henry, that you're going to be getting drunk after this show. So
That is true.
Why-
That is true.
What's your favorite quote? Why?
What is that? Oh,
Why
it's
be
There we
sober
go.
when you can be drunk?
No.
there's also can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
But I think the one Allie was talking about was what will be done eventually must be done immediately.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's
There you
it.
go.
You need to get it
There
done.
we go.
And speaking of things that must be done immediately, we're horsing around. You know, the tailgate got to play some games. So I've got a game for you guys. This first one is called Two Truths and a Lie. And the way it works is I'm going to give you 3 quotes.
Love it.
You got to tell me which 2 are real, which one is fake. And the theme this week is Vic Fangio food metaphors. Vic Fangio food metaphors.
What?
Yeah, so, Allie, I think we have a graphic here with the quotes. Let's bring that up. Okay, so the first quote from Vic Fangio here. Sometimes you have to be a short order cook, maybe do a little Chef Boyardee instead of the homemade stuff.
What?
Second one here, quote, sometimes you have to make a sauce without garlic. It's not about what you don't have, it's about making the best out of what you do have.
No.
And the last one here, I want everything. I want all the meatballs in the pasta, you know.
What is going on right now? This is insanity. I
don't
can't
even have a
believe
guess.
I've been so locked in on bets, I've been missing all these food-related quotes. Okay. Let's recenter ourselves. That really shocked me. He would not quote Chef Boyardee. I'm saying A is the fake quote.
Okay,
Here,
all
let's
right.
go.
It's really hard for me because I have to
He's a true Italian. You
differentiate.
mentioned pasta. You
Yeah.
mentioned garlic. It's A. It's A. I'm certain now.
I don't know.
Hank.
I just want that to be true though, and I can't separate that from my actual brain that's good at processing
it is
information.
the most relatable
You know what?
quote to adapting to week 1. With
That is true.
all the-
That is true. I'm gonna say it's C. That's a lie. C's the lie.
I'm so happy about this.
Is it
We're
me?
both wrong.
No.
Oh, you got us by sneaking garlic in the quote, didn't you?
I really
That's
thought
all
you
it
would have
took.
said that no Italian man would believe that you could make a sauce without garlic.
I was so shook by all these quotes. I wasn't even thinking, frankly.
This is such a success because as I was preparing
That was
these,
really well done.
as I was preparing
Yeah.
these quotes last night, I thought to myself, there's no way that they're not going to know these because these are iconic quotes. I mean, the Chef Boyardee one was said this week by Vic Fangio. Talking about the
Our listeners even know.
yeah, I mean
Oh,
they're
wow.
more dialed in than you guys. So
Totally.
Yeah.
Clearly.
that makes me really, really happy.
Wow. I can't believe he said those things though.
That was outstanding.
That's incredible.
What a legend.
Why isn't there national media love for Vic Fangio?
Because he doesn't win yet.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Win
that's
games,
fair.
baby.
As
So I
soon as
guess give it 3 months, 4 months.
the Broncos start 5-3 even, people are going to start to catch on to Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Speaking of Vic Fangio, you know what? We had this in the queue, so I just want it now. We were supposed to have a hot quote to finish lighting the grill this morning, and I forgot to queue it up. So let's just play it. We're giving Vic Fangio love. This is my favorite quote maybe ever by Vic Fangio.
From The Godfather.
Next up, Mike Kliss. Mike, your line's unmuted.
Okay. Any concern, Coach, about, just the attitude, morale of the team? I mean, there are injuries, and then, Vaughn is the face of the franchise here for the last 5 or 6 years.
My concern is you've been doing these Zoom calls since the pandemic hit, and you still don't know when to unmute yourself.
That's so good. That's so
Wow.
good.
The shade is so good.
Local roast master. You can see him stewing as he's waiting for
I know.
Kliss to come on. Too.
Yeah, that's so right.
So annoyed, yeah.
It was so good. I'm a big cynic when it comes to this stuff. I almost wondered if it was a setup.
Huh. Nah, it can't be. No, everybody leaves themselves muted. I was talking to Matez on the phone yesterday, and the first 5 seconds it was just me saying like, "Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" It finally worked, and like that's just how all of my communications start. You know, I don't know that Kliss needed to be shamed for that.
Well,
I don't know.
That's how every call with
I'll
my
throw
grandpa
something
goes,
out there.
for sure.
all right. Got another game for you guys.
Oh boy.
This one is called
Okay.
Four
you
Quarters.
guys gotta see this.
You guys,
I'll
you guys
move
seem like
this.
you're panicking already.
Well, this game takes space.
Yeah, I mean,
We aren't all as dialed in as you are.
this is not gonna be good.
Okay, so the way the game works is producer Allie going to give us a question.
Okay.
Now, instead of hitting a buzzer,
Yeah.
the way that you buzz in is by making your quarter into your shot glass.
Yeah.
Whoever's first to do that gets the first crack at the question. If they get it wrong, then it's a head-to-head for the other two
Oh
to
my.
get the next chance.
Oh my.
Okay.
Because of timing, I'm only going to ask you guys 4 questions. We'll do 4.
That's why it's called Four Quarters.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Perfect.
No one gave me the rules on how many questions I had to ask. Jeez. Okay. All right. Number 1. By combination of receiving, rushing, and returning, who was the first Bronco player to cross the end zone over 70 times?
Oh, no.
Got it.
All right, Henry.
Over 70? Floyd Little.
Nope. Wrong.
Okay, to cross the end zone. Can you repeat the question? I made it.
By combination of receiving, rushing, and returning, who was the first Bronco player to cross the end zone over 70 times?
Receiving, rushing, and returning. 70 touchdowns.
I didn't mean to give you guys a hard one for the first one.
You're embarrassing us in the first question here. I was for sure going to guess Floyd Little. Give me...
I can do this.
Yeah, give us a hint.
He's an undrafted free agent.
Oh. Rod Smith. Boom.
There we go. We got it.
Oh, let's go, Dre.
That's how the game is
The
played.
question
actually
kind
it
of
isn't.
throws you off.
It was his turn.
The undrafted Rod Smith scored 71 touchdowns, 68 receiving, 1 rushing, and 2 by returns.
See, that's what threw me off is the combination. I was like, Rod Smith just wasn't scoring a lot of return or rushing touchdowns. So I was like, who is this all-purpose guy?
All right. Next question.
All right.
Who was the coach that led the Broncos to their first Super Bowl win?
No.
Mike Shanahan.
No.
No, I did it first.
You guys
I did
are
it first.
so ignorant.
I did it first.
Why?
Oh,
Dan Reeves.
I missed the question. I messed up the question. Who was the coach that led the Broncos to their first
Red
Super
Miller.
Bowl? There we go.
I thought that's how she phrased it.
No, she said first Super Bowl win.
Oh.
And you just called
So
us
you guys
ignorant.
got it right. Well, I was so focused on this. That was the math magician coming out. He's very insulting.
Your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What year did the Denver Broncos start in the American Football League?
1960.
Yes, Henry.
Nicely done.
Thank
first
you.
try.
I
So
did
did
make
I.
it first try.
So-
I mean,
Faster on the
my
draw.
I was
rimmed out
ready.
there. So.
So each of you have a point.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's right. I got the buzzer
Yeah.
beater first
Oh,
one.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Wow.
Each of you have a
Okay.
point.
that's exactly how I drew it up.
Okay. Come on, baby.
Oh, this one's pretty easy.
Well,
That's a game of quarters then.
Do it.
tell you the truth.
All right.
It's all about the quarters.
All right, that's true. Okay. What was the Broncos' win-loss record in Super Bowls in which John Elway was the starting quarterback?
God dang it, Henry.
2 and 3.
That is correct.
Oh,
Henry
nicely
wins.
done,
Let's
Hank.
go.
Nicely done.
Henry just got hot with the quarter.
He
It's
did.
because I got the tequila.
There you
That's
go.
how this works. As soon as you have a shot, then you are good at these games.
Wow.
So
Incredible.
Henry got the Tinder
I did.
lady.
Yeah.
And I've since
quarters.
had a second response.
What a
Henry
day
is
for
the
him.
youngest, though. Like, he's
What
the
a day for
closest
him.
removed from... Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
He
Is
was
Henry
like,
our
I
the
haven't done
MPJ of
this in
DNVR or
3
what?
years.
Yes.
Yes.
Henry. He's
Yes.
coming into his own right before our eyes.
So true.
All right, let's move on now to our final segment here, the countdown. And we have a guest appearance from our guy, Zach Stevens here. This used to be an article that he did on DNVR.com. and I loved it. So we figured we can make it translate into this. It's called the magic number, and it's pretty self-explanatory once you see how it goes. So let's toss here to our guy Zach Stevens on this Sunday morning.
What's up, friends, and happy football Sunday. Can't wait for the Broncos to kick off the season tomorrow night against the Titans. And the key, the magic number for that game will be a crisp 100, a Benjamin. And what I mean by that is if the Broncos hold Derrick Henry to under 100 rushing yards in the game, they'll win. They'll start off undefeated 1-0. If Derrick Henry goes for over 100 yards on the ground, well, the Broncos will lose. And get this, from week 10 on last year through the playoffs, that was really when Ryan Tannehill's offense was implemented out there in Tennessee. From week 10 on, when Derrick Henry rushed for more than 100 yards in a game, the Titans won every single game. They were 7-0. However, in the 2 games when Derrick Henry didn't top 100 yards, including the AFC Championship game last year, the Chiefs lost both games. So it's as simple as that. In the Titans' 7 wins during that stretch, Derrick Henry rushed for an average of 169 yards per game. Just think about that. Over 7 games, Derrick Henry rushed for nearly 170 yards per game. And 4 of those were against playoff teams. So good competition as well. And in the 2 games that the Titans lost in that stretch, Derrick Henry combined for 155 rushing yards on the ground. So in 2 games that they lost, he had fewer yards combined than what he averaged over 7 games, which is just crazy to think about. And while the Broncos did hold Derrick Henry to his worst performance of the season last year in week 6, he only had 28 yards on 15 carries. It was against a significantly different team. This Titans team from last year, you got to erase that from your mind of the one the Broncos played, because now it's under a new quarterback. They have a totally different new system that they're doing and a different mindset, and it is all about Derrick Henry. In fact, with Mariota as their starter last year, which he was up through the Broncos game last year, Derrick Henry averaged 69 rushing yards per game. Every other game for the rest of the season when Ryan Tannehill was a starter, Derrick Henry averaged 131 yards per game. So it just tells you, you got to forget about last year and what the Broncos did with Derrick Henry. It's as simple as if the Broncos hold him under 100 rushing yards, they'll start off 1-0. If Derrick Henry goes above 100, and history would say he would go well above 100, well, the Titans will beat the Broncos on Monday night. So that's your magic number, 100 for Derrick Henry.
All right, shout out to Zach for that. You know, I hadn't seen the video, but I've talked enough to Zach that I was like, I guarantee the number is Derrick Henry 100 rushing yards.
It's true. Ryan was like, wait, let me guess, and just gave it to me.
That's pretty impressive.
I know my guy Zach. So
your boy.
That's huge. The last time these 2 teams played, the Broncos absolutely shut down Derrick Henry. Of course, you know, that was in a time where Marcus Mariota could barely put the right shoe on his foot.
Yep.
And so you just take away Derrick Henry and you're fine. To me, that's still the key to this game for the Broncos. Like, if Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown beat you, I think you go to sleep fine on Monday night.
Right.
If Derrick Henry runs wild all over you, you're saying, wow, we had months and months and months to prepare for their biggest threat, and they didn't get it. So as we kind of just wrap things up here, a lot of times we'll be leading right into a Broncos game as we finish the show here today. Unfortunately, we have like a 36-hour wait before we're actually going to get this Broncos game.
We have a Nuggets.
But we do have a Nuggets game coming up right now, which is nice as the bar starts to fill up with Nuggets fans. Yeah. Andre, I'll just go to you. Give me kind of just your idea of the keys to this game and what the Broncos need to do to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely starts with stopping the run on both sides, because the Broncos are going to deal with some pressure from the talented edge rushers. They just added Clowney. They've got Harold Landry, and that's going to really test the Broncos' tackles. We saw how well Drew Lock performed against pressure last year. Can he keep that up? What's going to happen with emerging second-year player Jeffrey Simmons on that line against Graham Glasgow? That's going to be a huge matchup. But really, one way to beat that pressure is by running the ball at those edge rushers. And I think we have the 2 best power backs in the NFL as far as it goes running outside tosses. And so that's going to test 2 very struggling right tackles because you're always running that to the strong side. And that's really going to I see you guys grinning, and it's killing me. And, so that's going to be one way to
Do you want to explain to the people why you're both on your phone and laughing? I know we were going to tie it in at the end, but it's very obvious something's going on. Let's clue the listeners in.
Me and Henry had a bet of who could nail the most buzzwords that Andre was saying in his breakdown. And I can just tell by the look on Henry's face that he's doing better than I am.
Nice.
I'm glid you think that, but you might be in for a twist at the end.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Andre, please.
Quick.
Yes.
Someone, Aaron, said, I missed it. Did Henry get the Tinder answer?
He did.
2. I got 2 responses
my
now.
gosh. All right. Well, we will, we forgot to cover this, but we will take that pick, right? We'll bet.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll take the Colts.
money line.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
What was the second one?
I haven't gotten a pick out of her because I didn't progress the conversation yet.
He just got a match. That doesn't count.
Well, she responded to do you have a football?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going.
Tackling
That's a
on
good
the edge, Reed, Chubb, Atachu will be tested. They got to tackle out on an island there on the perimeter against, Derrick Henry. And then it's going to be key for those same guys to create pressure and not allow Ryan Tannehill to hit deep bombs on that play-action passing game to A.J. Brown. That's going to be key. And then on offense, we talked about suppressing pressure. We talked about the running game. I think the other key here is the quick passing game. Jerry Jeudy's so key to that. You can't have a repeat to that Kansas City game in the snow where no one was getting open. Jerry Jeudy, how does he change that? I think that's the final key to the game for me.
Do we have a count over there? I know I got at least 1. Yes.
Ryan got 2.
I got
Ryan
play
got
action
2.
and generate pressure.
Hank got 0, but he had a good poker face. He had you going.
He did have me going. Ground and pound, old school, multiple front 50-50 ball. I was shocked. Are we sure we didn't get down the field? Thought we might have got down the field.
We were both keeping an eye on it.
Well,
I guess I said deep passing game.
Yes, you did say.
Field, yeah.
I thought you were going to say, you actually ended up saying they need to hit short passes. I thought you were going to say Drew Lock is going to have to push the ball down the field because to me, I do think that is an important part of this game. And it's one of my worries of training camp. Now, look, I did not see every training camp practice. We had to rotate. Zach is at 1, Mace is at 1, I'm at 1. But I didn't see it enough to know. I'd love to be able to say, man, Drew Lock was nails throwing the 9 ball. And I don't know yet. So it's a little bit of an unknown for me as to whether they're going to be able to hit those passes. Courtland Sutton is so important to this team pushing the ball down the field, which I think is everything for this game because I think you're going to have to get some chunks. I know I've talked about how offenses are going to be off timing wise. You're just going it's so important to have Courtland Sutton out there. You could just toss it up and say, go get it. And sometimes you draw a pass interference. Sometimes he makes the play. It's like, you call it a 50-50 ball, but it's really like 50% chance he catches it, 50% chance it's knocked away. There's also
There's the 50-50 ball, by the way.
25, there's like a 25% chance that there's a defensive penalty.
Yeah.
So it's really like a 50-25-25 ball.
Yep.
And I hope they have Courtland Sutton so they're able to even, try to make those plays.
Absolutely.
Hank, what do you got?
I think if you look at my list of terms, you probably would have seen what I've got about this game. I think, again, it is all about this running game to me. What do you do with Derrick Henry? And I have a whole bunch of questions about how the Titans want to use Derrick Henry because, when I think of a running back like that, I think of a guy who you're trying to build with throughout the season so that he is at his best in November and December and into the playoffs. But because you haven't had time to try out this passing attack, do you just say, no, we are just from day one grinding Derrick Henry, which maybe he can take that. Yeah. We've never seen an athlete like him, in my opinion, just with that build, playing that position in that way. So maybe he can do what he does for an entire season. But I would have expected them to wait until late. Now, though, I'm not so sure. You know, you talk to any defensive coordinator, any defensive football coach, they'll say the first thing that you have to do in any football game is stop the run.
Yeah.
That is obviously the case tonight because, honestly, I like A.J. Brown. I'm not totally sold that he's the guy who can go out and just beat the Broncos, though. So as long as you hold down everybody else, I agree. You just need to make Ryan Tannehill beat you with his arm, and if it happens, I guess it happened.
I got to say, when I was doing my studying of the Titans, I determined that no team has more guys whose full name sounds like the two frat bros who are asking you at the front door of the party how many chicks you brought with them. Listen, Derrick Henry. Derrick and Henry are the two, right?
Yeah.
Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Dennis Kelly.
Yes.
And then Nate Davis. Like, all these are just like two. I know I put your name in there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you did.
Sorry,
it's fair, though.
Okay. Final thing here. The Broncos are now, what, 2.5-point dogs? 3-point dogs.
4.5-point swing since this line first
Give
came out.
me, Andre, your pick against the spread and maybe just your pick straight up and a score.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the Broncos are now 3-point dogs. I think this is one of the few teams that, with the altitude factor, does still have a home field advantage. So I think they're being overlooked a little. I think this will be low scoring. The over-under set at 40.5, so Vegas has that baked in. I've been back and forth. I think this will be a close, grinded out. I'm going to take the points with the Broncos. I'm going to take the under here.
Do you have a score prediction?
2017.
Broncos. Henry?
Which I guess is a push.
The Broncos don't lose season openers and they don't lose home games.
Especially they
That's
don't lose
what it boils down to.
season
They're
openers.
what, 21 of 22 now? Something like that? Yeah. I mean, this is a win. It's a win.
And the score is?
Well, so in the DNVR Madden League, somebody set up like a picks thing where you get to pick all of your, I think it's all the Monday Night Football games.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I took the Broncos to win 59-zip. I'll stand by that.
Excuse me, what?
Hey, the last time these two teams played, the Broncos shut them out. And they had a much worse quarterback.
Can I just take the shutout then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to change it. I'm just going to say something to 0. Yeah.
Something to 0.
Wow.
Something to 0. Anything more than 0 to 0.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you have?
You know, I feel weird about the fact that this is all three of us taking the Broncos, but I'm with Henry. Like, that's my take. My take is that the Broncos don't lose home season openers.
They don't.
I don't care if there's fans. I don't care about any of that stuff. Broncos aren't going to lose in Mile High in a home opener. So I got Broncos 21-17. We're always going to wrap this show up a little bit before 11 o'clock so you guys have a chance to, turn off the YouTube, go to your red zone, get it all dialed up. Football is finally here. It is so amazing. We're going to have football nuggets. It's going to be awesome. So, again, few more RSVP spots left to come watch Monday Night Football with us as the Broncos take on the Titans on Monday night. Thank you guys for being with us on our very first episode of The Tailgate, and enjoy the games.